This week I have been making some new candle jars. I've managed to acquire a couple more jars, and I've been doing more of this colourway because this is quite popular, this one. So all the ones that I've made have sold out, and I've had a request to make one, which I've now done. So I've got a medium size here and a small one here, and they both come with their own lids. So I'll be getting those. They're just drying. Their last coat of glue is just drying at the moment, so hopefully I can get those on this afternoon because we're enjoying some lovely warm weather at the moment. I've made a list of things that I want to think about, so post my flash sale and the advice, the critiques that I got based on that gave me a little bit of a kick up the backside, which is good. So one thing that I read somewhere else completely and thought I really need to do that is set up a place where I can add reviews to my Shopify, because not having reviews of your products isn't great for customers, and I totally agree with that. Now with Shopify, that doesn't come as a standard, it's an add-on. So I managed to put some time aside and had a look for bolt-ons to my Shopify store that will give me a nice, simple, basic review addition that I can add to my store. And I found one, I think it's called Judge Me, I'll put the details up. And I had added it to my store just before I got my last sale. So I already have a review up, which is really great. And I think that's going to be really helpful. And now every time that I get a sale on that site, it'll offer out a review, a chance to review for the customer. So that's really good. So I'm hoping that that is going to be helpful. I also need to revise all my product pages. I'm aware that I need to do that. It needs some time. I need to put aside a proper chunk of time to do that. And I'm always doing all sorts of different things here, and I get very, very easily distracted at home. There's this to do, there's that to do. I need to go out and do that. I need to do this. And I find it really hard to just settle into doing one thing. So in a couple of months, I'm going to be house sitting for my parents while they're on holiday for 2 weeks. And I'm going to do it then. I'm going to set aside a couple of days where all I do is just go through all my products and make sure that I'm not missing any information, add some better information to the categories, try and make it a little bit more user-friendly for people who don't know how I work. I mean, I've worked in this way, the way I make things, for such a long time, I forget that it's not obvious to outsiders how I work. So I need to make adjustments to that. I need to add extra information to the listings. I also tend to assume that people don't read the listings, like the descriptions and the extra information. And that's another reason why I tend not to put a lot of information in there, is because I think, well, people just look at the pictures and go, oh, I'll have that. But that's probably not the case, and I probably need to stop thinking like that. So I need to look at putting more information in. I'm going to do that. That's going to be my big summer project, and I will get cracking on that when I get that chunk of time and I have less distractions. I'm thinking about adding an upcycle section to my store. I have some clothes that I have upcycled, altered, messed around with, and originally I made them for me, but I've never worn them. It's one of those things where you kind of make things and then you never actually end up using them. So I'm thinking about setting up a new section for that. There won't be much on it to start with, but if I can get a few things on there, and it'll give me a good excuse to look through my wardrobe and pull out things that I think will lend themselves to being altered and messed around with and personalised and customised. And I might start doing that. The other thing that has happened in recent months that kind of crept up on me, and I didn't really realise it was happening until recently, is that I have pretty much abandoned Etsy now. I do still have listings up. The problem is that I use Etsy for haberdashery, and haberdashery doesn't fit into my shop Maybe I should do a haberdashery section. What do you think? I have tons of haberdashery. I have fabric, I have buttons, I have zips, I have all sorts of things, and I want it all gone. But sales have just ground to a halt. Etsy is just the most dreadful place now. So I still have all this stuff that I want gone, taking up room, and no way of selling it. I don't want to just dump it or give it away. I still think that financially there is still some money in it, but I'm not sure what I should do about that, or whether I should just give up and just give it all to a sewing shop or something like that and just get rid of it. I'm not sure how best to deal with that. Ideally, I'd like to make some money out of it, because I don't make enough money out of my business. That's really it. So I do still have a bunch of listings on Etsy, but I'm not going to renew them when they next expire, which I think is going to be in a couple of months. Because what's the point? I'm listing and paying Etsy listing fees and stuff doesn't sell, and I'm not particularly interested in pushing my traffic to my Etsy store when I have my own website. So what should I do? Should I be promoting that Etsy haberdashery store more? Should I open a section on my Shopify? Should I just give up and not sell it at all? I think it's a really oversaturated market on Etsy, like haberdashery items. There are lots of makers out there, but lots of people selling stuff like that, and it's very easy to be undercut. And the problem with Etsy, of course, is that, you know, you pay your seller fees, and then when you sell something you pay all these fees on top of it, and you end up making no money out of something. So if you're selling a zip for, say, £2, you probably won't see more than about 10p of that. So what's the point? So I need to rethink that one as well. So if you've got any ideas about that, I can't set up a shop on my YouTube because I'm not monetized, so I can't even promote an additional shop there. But particularly if you're into craft and stuff, maybe go and have a look at my Etsy shop and see what you think of what I've got. It's stuff I've had for years, and it just all needs going. It's a lot of stuff that I don't tend to use. I don't tend to put a lot of zips in clothes because I make free size fit garments. So I don't know. I'm not sure what to do. I'm a bit lost on that one. So that's really the extent of my update at the moment. There's not a whole lot going on. I need to get my invoices all sorted because the tax year has now ended. We are in a new year, and I like to get my taxes done around about June. I tend to leave it a couple of months, and then I get into it around June and get it all done. Because I run everything on spreadsheets, it's really quick to do, so the information's already there. I just literally need to put it into the self-assessment and click submit, and it's done. So it won't take long to do, that's the good thing. I have one other bottle that I would like to decorate. Look at this. Oh, there goes the lid. Look at this fun bottle. Can you imagine that with just some light floral decor climbing up the bottle, and then you could put one of those strings of LED lights in it, and I think that would look really nice. I need to get these labels off. I definitely want to get that one off, but I might leave that one. I think that's quite pretty. It was an Italian liquor. So I'm going to decorate that one and get that one up on the website as well. And that's all I've got jar-wise, so that's all I have at the moment. That's a very short update, isn't it? Anyway, so that's where I am at the moment, and I hope you enjoyed my video about me upsizing that dress. That was a good project. I haven't worn the dress yet. Oh dear, it's another one of those things that I'll upcycle and then will hardly ever wear, which is really terrible of me. But I'm glad I did it. It's now a wearable piece, so I've got no real excuse. And I really want to go through my my wardrobe again and start pulling out more things I can get rid of, because I have so many clothes that I don't wear that I will never wear again. A lot of it's on my Vinted store. I have put a lot of stuff on Vinted. A lot of it has gone already, but you know, I can always do more, I think. Firstly, I have completed that bottle I mentioned. So this is how it looks, and I'll put a video at the side that I did with it with the bottle. I had to wait for to order some new batteries for that, because it makes it look really nice. You can get little solar panel versions of these bottle lights, and I'd advise getting that rather than using the batteries, because these really eat batteries. But you can get ones with little solar panels on the top, and if you keep that in the light all day, then in the evening you will get your light. I have a string of solar lights. I think they were probably garden lights, but I have them strung up in my front room window, and they last for hours if you get a nice day. The other thing I've been doing is taking apart the remains of that gorgeous dress. So here's that lovely panel. That's all there is of that. And I've also taken apart the trim that was around the neck and the arms. Not much of that either. And I've been left with strips of the fabric. There is not enough fabric to do anything with. There's not enough to make pockets. There's not enough to make a bag. And I didn't want to overthink the project. I just wanted the dress to be wearable. I don't want all the accessories with it. I'd probably only wear it a couple of times a year because that's the kind of person I am. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut all of this up into strips, find a complementary colour, and then I'm going to turn it into one of my coasters, because I'd rather that than just the fabric just sits there. But I don't really want to add to the dress. I don't particularly want to add pockets to it. There isn't enough fabric to make pockets that are worth adding to it anyway. And I'd rather just use the fabric for something else and try and get a little bit of the money back that I spent on the second dress, and then it'll balance itself out. So what I might do, depending on the size of the coaster at the end, is edge the coaster with this lace. And I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I think I'm going to hoard that because it's so pretty, but that's all there is. I could do all sorts of things with that. You know, it could be a panel on a bag. I don't really make bags. I'm not a bag carrier. I have loads of bags and I never ever use them. I don't like carrying bags because it's just something else to lose. It's just something else to get nicked. So I tend not to use them. So that's my additional bit of update for this week. And that's pretty much it really. Yeah, I've been kind of chomping away at bits and pieces, doing the declutter with Vinted, finishing off those projects, getting that bottle finally sorted, and it feels productive because a load of stuff has got done and it's making space and creating a little bit of money, and I quite enjoy that. A bit of ducking and a bit of diving. So thank you for that, and thank you for that. What am I talking about? Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. My subscription numbers are going up a little bit. I think I'm producing slightly more interesting content maybe, and particularly when I talk about money, about running a business. People like videos like that. And I also do monthly audits on my personal channel for my just my household expenses, and people find those really interesting. So anything talking about money at the moment, like proper money, not pretend, not making it up, what it's actually like, that's the stuff that people really like. So I will keep doing things about that, and that's it. I'm up to date, so I hope you enjoyed that short update, but they don't always be that long. Thank you for watching, and speak to you again soon. Bye bye.